The next three sections in settings aren't quite as involved as the other ones, so let's go ahead and go through those. In restoring offline clips, as you can see, there's only really three options here. Your docking margin, and on your restore default, whether you want to capture all when you load a project file, or you have the option of capture the used area or don't capture at all. And of course, you also have the same options on whether when you're importing an EDL file, whether you want to capture all, capture the used area, or don't capture. For those of you who do not know what an EDL file is, what it is, it's a file called an edit decision list, which has every bit of information of a project in it, from where clips are to where they're positioned, how they're trimmed, transitions, filters, everything, so that when you bring this EDL file in, the computer can use the clips and be able to rebuild a project in its entirety. The next section is playback options. Here we have our pre-roll again, meaning that what you want your deck to do at the time that you start your playback. But the other options are stop playback at frame drop. So in other words, if you run into an area that's too heavy for the CPU to handle, do you want the computer to stop and tell you that you can't go on because you've dropped a frame? The next option is continue playback when editing. If you want your timeline to continue playback when you're trimming clips or doing editing, other editing, you're able to sit there and watch the playback happen while you're editing. This option, along with the next option, allows you to be able to continue your playback on the timeline while you're editing. This might be desirable to you if you're trying to watch what's going on as the edit is happening. So if that is your desire, then you'd want to have these options selected. The next option, like I just said, is continue playback when trimming clip, which gives you the same desired effect as when you're editing. When this is selected, it means that Edius is going to show you the correct frame when you're scrubbing, no matter how fast you're doing it. Why have an option like this? Don't you always want to see the correct frame when you're scrubbing? Well, this has a lot to do with your computer. If you're finding that your computer is slowing down during scrubbing, it's because of the fact that if this option is checked, Edius is trying to keep up with every frame and your CPU just isn't able to do it. If you're having problems with scrubbing, go into these options and uncheck it. It'll allow the computer to show an approximation of the frame, and that way you'll be able to scrub as quickly as you want to and not have the program slow down on you. The last option we have is buffered frames before playback. You have the options of 5 frames, 10, or 15. The reason that this is important to have these buffers before you play back is many times in a project, if the beginning of the project is rather heavy, you're going to have a frame drop every single time. Instead of having to hit the shift space bar to load the entire buffer up before it starts playback, by using this option, you can just have a few frames loaded that'll get you past that very start point, which sometimes gives you trouble. The next section in our application settings is match frame jump. A match frame jump is simply matching the original timecode on a clip on the timeline to what's on the deck. This is also referred to as an insert edit point. As you can see, you have a few options here with your match frame jump, such as the search direction. Do you want to go to the next or the previous point? And it allows you to pick your target tracks. You can pick all tracks, or you can choose which tracks that you want it to search through. If you hit in the middle of a transition, you also have the option of either going from the from side of the clip or to have it stop at the to side of the clip.